a lot of times they would then not want to look in your eyes because they're being deceptive. So go against that negative flow. These negative people will often make statements and questions that may not be relevant to the conversation. Again, trying to confuse. If the information is not clear, just remember the who, what, when, where, why, and how, so you can clarify the situation. But some people will continue to be even further negative and further confusion. So every time you ask a question, their responses will be leaving you in a state of duality, or null and void, in which their response or their answer wasn't relevant to the question. So you can feel, again, further confused. And when people offer confusion, they are not saying anything. Even though they're speaking, they are saying nothing. There's no reason to follow, rhyme or reason to follow that path of confusion, because it's a duality or it's nonsensical. So then they're really not saying anything. So if you walk off without them having had cleared what they were saying, then disregard all they say. You can record how everything was nonsensical. They was talking about one thing, they went to another thing, and then they was saying yes and no. So they're not particularly saying anything. So do not hover over what was it exactly they said, because although they spoke in a confusing manner, which means they never really made a point, which will keep your mind clean. Because if you're continuing to rack your brains over what they had said or meant without them there, is an erroneous form of understanding or coming to a conclusion that was never indicated by them. But knowing the positive and the negatives and how these things are structured will give you insight as to that person and what they really mean and how they feel. Negative people don't want you to act upon your base, meaning your state of calm being, and but instead they want you to follow their flow or the stream of negatives that they had just said before you. So you don't assume anything. Instead, prefer to ask questions. And if they don't answer in a logical, calm fashion, or with a distinct meaning, you will know when the time comes exactly what they meant, how they what they actually didn't say. But maintain your patience. Have patience. Much of what you need to know will be revealed over time of what they had planned as their objective and who they are. Because there's a difference between someone saying who they are and you observing their choices and truly knowing who they are over time. This is their greatest enemy, is time. A positive person's time works for them. A negative person's time works against them. You will know a negative because over time they're consistently inconsistent, as opposed to a positive that over time you will say, yes, this person is indeed, in fact, consistently consistent. So you will see that this person is a person of the word. This person is working in such a way that is helpful towards others. This person is indeed respectful. This person does have character. good character, so they know who you are by what you're doing, and over time. It is not to say that people can't change, because people can and do change, but we're supposed to change for the better over time, as opposed to someone who is getting worse and hurting themselves and others over time. But time is a great factor in indicating who a person is at any particular moment in time, along with the 14, meaning their words and their belief structures, and it'll give you the entire picture. Negative individuals may hold your actions against you, and they will change what you had meant. Something, but they will be unable to truly hold something against you because it was meant always as a positive. That's not to say that they won't hold your actions against you, as if you correct an evil person, they will hate you, but if you correct a good person or a wise man, he will love you and be grateful towards you. But know that so they will perceive something against you, but in their gut they will know what you had said and did was for their own good, as long as the motive was truly positive. What's hidden, and that's how a lot of people deceive, by being evil in their motives, but being positive in their actions, which in fact it's being negative. But when you're being positive, even when they're angry, down the line they would know that it was for their own good. Now, whether they learned, it may take a little while, and if they don't, then they'll continue to regurgitate this illogical form of structure and thought and belief, which will be their downfall to the very end. So it is not the fact that someone is acting dumb or stupid, or someone's acting intelligent or sad in a joking manner, someone's acting crazy, someone's being hateful, starting an argument, but the reason why is this person behaving that way? And a lot of times we don't look at that, they just simply look at the action and say, well, this guy is wicked, or he's a lunatic, and they're not looking, how did that person get that way? With a series of unfortunate events, negative people can work together to create a person to be in an illogical state of mind, because they lacked the knowledge that it took in order for them to project themselves, meaning stand for something or fall for anything. So they didn't have this due to this lack of knowledge. For my people die of lack of knowledge, because these people were never instructed from birth. They were never taught the way we were meant to be taught as human beings, and therefore taking away their God-given knowledge that was supposed to have been given to them, but was never given. And therefore, these people are gullible, and they believe they're helpless, as opposed to believing that you are not helpless, that you are in control, as opposed to someone believing that they are not in control. And because of this, human instruction, if you follow the human instruction, you are empowered with now this, what they call a secret language, a language within a language, within a language, within a language. So again, this is fractals. So it gets deeper and deeper, and it goes within. We'll go deeper into that a little later on. Let your objectives in life to be and do the best you can. And know that God will work things out, so your journey is a journey to learn for you as an individual. and you can fulfill your objectives, and do not focus or be controlled, or actually control is the deception of a logical structure, by negative people's emotions and actions, which give out the energy and a belief system, a negative belief system. Negative people will lie to you and will tell you to maximize this negative energy. So it's best for you to actually do the opposite and to minimize it. Your objective is the objective, not the negative. Don't make things bigger, especially when they are not meant to be made bigger and they are not your objective. And know what is important and what is not important. Don't make problems when there is none. Somebody might get pulled over for a simple tail light being out, and then that's going to end up with them spending time being incarcerated because they took offense to the cop pulling them over. So next thing you know, they're in fisticuffs with the cops, and had they just followed the procedure, they could have been on their merry way with just a warning. Well, because they took offense to it, and probably they could have been irritated by other people. They could have been poking the bear. So instead of him behaving positively and calmly and rationally, he right away began berating the officer, and between him and the officer, which sometimes neither one of them have any sense, so they end up hurting one another and doing things that should have never been done or taken place. So don't let other people's belief controls your actions. Know your motives. As if you leave an area because someone is trying to instigate a fight, and that you're leaving not because you're afraid, but because this is the best possible, quickest solution, and not let another person's negative beliefs equal to lying and deception into a negative outcome. The way you feel and what you know has a direct effect on how you act and react. This is why it is important for you to understand how these negatives and positives work. All negatives are basically fight and flight, so that the greatest is actually positive redundant actions. And neither goes into fight or flight. It doesn't move to either extreme, avoiding redundancy into this matrix, and not following that very same pattern. Negative emotions. Mastering negative emotions is knowing how to deal with negative feelings, such as if you're feeling depressed, you get out of the depression is basically to feel the emotion, embrace the emotion. So as you're embracing the emotion, the second you embrace the emotion, then you tell yourself, man, I feel good. So if you're feeling good and you're feeling depressed, but you say you're feeling good, the negative and the positive don't want to hold the same stand or position. But you are the creator of how you want to feel. So you feel, you think positive, you feel positive, you think positive, you feel positive. Although the negative is in you, the negative is going to take it as though you're starting to enjoy this, and the negative doesn't want to contribute to your joy, so it tends to quickly evacuate the premises. But then you have also a source. So if you were being an action, a structure. So if you are being calm, and the negative is saying, well, be not calm or be anxious, but you said, tell yourself, I am being calm, it knows it's not taking over. Plus also knowing the pendulum swings. Well, the pendulum will go left to right. The left will be an example. Supposedly the left is negative. It wants you to stay towards the left negative. But if you're being calm and not being negative, it'll slowly start to go back to the right, which is positive, meaning over time it becomes stressed out because negative energy is always exhaustive. It rises. It doesn't rise to the occasion, but it's excessive. Negative energy throws all its energy away. Therefore, that's why you see it's always hurting in a continuous fight or flight form of energy. So it's just throwing all its energy away, as opposed to positive energy that's always calm within itself and it rises to the occasion. As opposed, or like two people fighting, one person is just angry and throwing all kinds of wild punches while the other person is calmed, meaning the rope-a-dope, meaning you are calm. This other guy is just swinging and swinging. You're calm. You're taking all these hits. You're taking these hits, but you're blocking your face. You're blocking your body, but still you're being calm. A good fighter knows this. A good fighter would never go into any fight angry because he's lost as soon as he showed up to the fight. But a good fighter, if he's calm and he's happy and he shows up, and he's just going to rope-a-dope you like, okay, buddy, you're angry? Knock yourself out. So he's angry, he's swinging, and meanwhile you're just blocking your face. You see him kicking, you're blocking, and you're blocking, and in a few minutes you'll see this guy exhausted. You won't even need to hit him. You just blow wind, blow air his way, and he just falls down. That's why a good kung fu fighter needs to know about chi. So you get all these tough guys to be, I do this and I do this. You be like, just stay calm. Even if he's bigger than you and he starts throwing swings at you and whatever, just be calm, conserve your energy, and then eventually he's going to come to the point where you're basically in control of the fight. This also works in time. Some people are tough guys when they're young and strong and they abuse certain people, but then over time they become old and weak and feeble, and now that young person that they was torturing or beating on is now stronger and healthier, and at any time can destroy them. And some people do that. Even leaders, some evil leaders, they are really cruel, but then when they get older, they're just waiting for the comeuppance because somebody knows that you hurt their mother or their grandfather, and now they're young and strong while you're old and feeble, and then they may retaliate, as opposed to someone who's continuous to do positive. So when those young people get older and somebody mess with you, they'll be like, no, that's my buddy. I said, don't mess with my friend there. Leave him alone. Just keep walking. Righteously, meaning the positive energy, it rises to the occasion. Therefore, it always has the power. So you get out of this depression feeling because you are not falling for that continuation of direction between your inner dialogue and your emotion, because they're going to project it. Now, technically, these people are going to project their negative emotions on you anyway. But that's all right because you're projecting positives on you. So they'll project the negative on you and you walk away. You still feel bad for what they did. But you're holding it like a wallet, like you put it in your wallet, you put it in your back pocket, and you know you're feeling the energy. Feel that negative energy. Understand the evil. Feel it like they feel it. This way you empathize with them. And you didn't retaliate with them, and and you felt their energy. They gave you their energy, so they gave you the pie, that negative pie. They didn't give you good pie. You don't get good pie. You get evil pie. So they give you evil pie. You take the pie. You'd be like, all right, I'm going to tear this up. I'm going to tear this pie later. But in fact, they're latching their spirit onto you. And that's a very dangerous thing. Some people return later with revenge. But when they did that, the part of them belongs to you. So they overextended their energy. As long as you're positive, it's almost like you own them. You possess them and you own a piece of them, or a piece of that energy that have projected onto you.